G'day everyone, Prep Aussie here. I hope you're all well in whatever part of the world you're watching this video. Today is Monday the 29th of March 2021 and the time here is 09:55 Australian Eastern Standard Time. Alright folks, plenty to go through. Let's get into it. Here is my sponsor, or one of my sponsors, Totally Rawesome, who make golden activated turmeric paste, amongst other things. Cocoa bombs, Happy Healing Silica, turmeric paste for pets. Look, folks, if you haven't tried this stuff, like I said, get some. A lot of you have, and a lot of you are now disciples of this stuff. It's honestly, this stuff works, folks. It's fantastic. If you want to contact them, 0433 165 848 and info@totallyrawesome.com.au, and you can go and visit them as regards to the left-hand page here. Please do so. You won't regret it. Okay, and here's my second sponsor, Mother Hen Australia. Now, I get their poultry food, which is absolutely fantastic. I get their premium feed. Now, Conrad's told me to tell you, if you want to get some, he will give, if you order 3 bags and over, he will give you free delivery for everyone who mentions Prep Aussie when you order. Like, you have to go through his page, etc., for deliveries, etc. So don't ring them. You have to do it on the page, go through the page, etc. He will give you free delivery on your first order only. Okay? Now you have to make it worth his while to make it worth your while, sort of thing. So please contact them. Get this stuff, folks. I swear to God, every single person who's, we now sell our eggs, and people rave about them. We've actually selling out of our own eggs. So look, just do yourself a favour. Get in touch with them, order some. Okay, and as I said before, we're going to kick off every session now with the Lord's Prayer at the beginning. So for those of you who don't want to listen to it, switch off now or put it on mute, because here we go. The Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Right. Okay, now, I want to go through something with you. It's a comment on YouTube, which when I first read it, pissed me off. But then I realised that, hey, listen, you have to listen to these people. So I'm going to read it out to you now, and then we're going to go through this stuff, okay? And it's this comment here from Pamika. Funny name. FMD Prep. You said many months ago that China was going to invade AU. I did say that. I didn't say when, but they are going to. Everybody's saying it. Did that happen? No, I didn't say it was going to happen next week or anything. Now, a week ago, you said in this video that China was going to bash the shit out of Taiwan. I'm guessing that's what that means. I did not say that it was going to happen right away either. I said it was going to happen, and it is going to happen. Has that happened? Also, you also referred to US troops based in China. They're not based in China, you dimwit. They're based in. They were based in Taiwan. Biden and the Pentagon has pulled all the troops out, and they've also taken away the Navy from that area. That's a fact. I don't know where you find these crap ideas. Well, okay. But you really should do a lot more research before bullshit leaves your lips. Okay. Maybe it's pharmaceuticals you are on that twist and bend your brain. Come on, Prep. Where do you find this crap you speak about? Don't get me wrong. This is what's funny here. Don't get me wrong. I believe that China is the greatest threat the Western world faces. But the dog excrement you expose is just plain stupid. Okay. What is wrong with you, mate? All right, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Okay. Please provide a link or evidence where China has stated it will take back Taiwan in the past week or so. Right, this is important. Right, has anybody watched the bit in the Anchorage, Alaska summit between China and America, where China literally told America it was so abrasive that every single person who reports on that who wanted to be factual, let me get that straight there. Don't count on CNN and everyone else showing you the real facts here. Right. China literally told the US to go itself because they were going to do whatever they wanted to do. That's what they said at that meeting, just in case there's no illusion there, right? China is going to invade Taiwan. Now, I'm lucky enough to know somebody who has a lot of contacts in Taiwan. I'm not going to say who or how. They are literally crapping themselves in Taiwan. And I mean that. Right. So on that point of that bloke, so let's just go through this, okay? Just wait a second. This is the ABC News Australia website. Now you see this page here, the front page? Don't even bother looking at it. It's all leftist bullshit crap, okay? Now, what you have to do is go up here. Sorry, before I say that. Just remember, about a year ago, it was after Malcolm Turnbull got thrown out of office, Scott Morrison raided ABC. And out of that raid, certain things changed at the ABC. Whereas I believe an agreement was made with, look, you can report this shit that you're reporting on the front, but you need to report factual stuff about China, because there was a big left turn done by the ABC as regards to China. So somewhere in there, the Australian government is actually telling people what they need to know if you're prepared to find the truth about China and what the Australian government is doing. So let me go through that with you. Right, go up here to the right. This is for this Pamika dimwit. See the little thing there? It says search. Right, now before I do that, if you're kind of wondering why one of the reasons is I don't make a video every day is because I want to make sure I'm telling you the truth. It's as simple as that. I'm kind of like, I'm not like them, but I'm kind of in the realms of the Dan Bonginos and the War Room Pandemic with Steve Bannon. What's the point in telling you something if I can't prove it? Because then it's just like all these other clowns that do this stuff where there's, look, I'm not even going to tell you they are. It's just clown work. Right. In this box here, Mr. Pamika, type in this. Taiwan. Right? This is what comes up. Taiwan begins mass production of long-range missiles amid China tensions. Right? Keep going down. Don't worry about the pineapple stuff. Taiwan reports 8 Chinese fighters in its defense zone as it appoints new defense minister. China says the United States is creating tensions after warship sails near Taiwan. China toughens its stance on Taiwan, declaring any attempt at independence will lead to war. And I can go on and on and on and on and on. Look, I can go through tons of them, right? And I can take you, actually, I'll take you to it. Hang on. Okay, this is Sky News Australia, right? Now, once again, here, I'm going to do this for you. Click on this. China. US military goes woke as Chinese commit serious incursions into Taiwan airspace. Look, I'm going to try and find something for you. Right, here you go. Look, experts warn China may invade Taiwan Taiwan amid American chaos. Look, it just goes on and on and on. Now, there's one really good one in here. I might see if I can find it for you and put the link on there. And it's an interview with one of our retired generals who openly says, we are going to be invaded. He's lobbying the Australian government now to give people arms and etc. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but look, what I'm trying to say to this Pramika dimwit, I don't put stuff up here just because I think, like some of these people are, oh, yeah, look, I'm going to be a security expert for Trump and all this sort of crap, from some of these clowns that do this stuff. I look and I research and I read stuff. Then I sit down and draw the conclusions from that. Now, I'm being open and honest here because you can't get this stuff from the mainstream media. Taiwan is going to be invaded by China. No two ways about it. They are going to invade Australia. No two ways about it. So the next thing you need to do is to look at what China's doing around the world to destabilize everybody. COVID, China virus, whatever you want to call it. COVID, tariffs to Australia, etc., etc. Now, if you haven't noticed, what they're doing is being a bully boy. So they bully people into the position where they go, oh, you know what? F you, China. I'm not putting up with this anymore. Then China reacts. See, yesterday they put a 280% tariff on Australian wines for the next 5 years, basically wiping out Australia's wine industry. Now, how long do you think it's going to be before Australia turns around and goes, hey, you know what? That iron ore we're selling you, it's $300 a tonne now, until you take off the tariffs on our wine and our dairy and our seafood and our wheat and our barley. If you ever noticed, China's actually crippling on its own the Australian economy with this shit. You don't know that because you haven't seen the effects of it really just yet. So then when we go, okay, well, we're not giving you any more iron ore until you take these tariffs off, then that's when China goes, I'll tell you what, we're going to land an atomic missile on our South China Sea base, and we're going to blow the shit out of Darwin if you don't give us our iron ore. Now, the only reason I'm talking like that, which probably sounds fanciful, is because of the fact that China said that basically to the US at the Anchorage, Alaska summit. They literally said to the US, don't lecture us, don't tell us what to do. And by the way, here's a pineapple up your ass. Now, I would strongly recommend you guys all watch War Room Pandemic because of the fact that it's the only one out there that I can find, and the National Pulse with Raheem Kassam, that actually tells you what is going on in the world. Forget about the mainstream. Like I said, forget about the front page of the ABC, the sport page of business, and every other shit thing that's on there, because they're not reporting the truth. Now, here's one thing I want to show you from the last video I did that came true. Okay, so wait. If you remember, in my last video, I told you that a company called Greensill, which is owned by this Aussie bloke who I'd never heard of before, who was financing bucket loads of companies around the world. Now, he was pulling a shifty where he was doing this insurance scam, saying, yep, yeah, these loans are viable because I've got insurance-backed money. So if these companies go broke, the insurance companies pick up the slack, pay out the money. Well, that was false. That never existed. Now, one of the big companies that this guy was financing is a company run by this Gupta bloke, Indian fella, out of London. Now, he's just turned around in the last couple of days and has begged and pleaded for the UK government to give him $170 million, or his mills are literally going to shut shop around the world. So I'm going to read this to you, just so you understand what's going on. And you can read it for yourself afterwards. And you're going to wonder, why is this important? The government has rejected a request for £170 million in financial support for Liberty Steel. The firm's founder, Sanjeev Gupta, sent a letter last week asking for help to pay day-to-day operating expenses and absorb recent losses. Liberty's owner, GFG, employs 5,000 staff at its 12 UK sites. Now, it doesn't go on about anything about Australia. Now, government sources told the BBC last week they had concerns about the opaque nature of Mr. Gupta's empire, which employs 35,000 people worldwide. Right. Now, this is where it gets technical. GFG, a holding company for Mr. Gupta's assets, was the biggest recipient of finance from Greensill. Basically, what they were doing between the two of them was he'd apply for a massive loan. Greensill would get it via this insurance company, saying that it was covered by insurance. It wasn't. Gupta would get the money by the look of it and put some in his bank account, and who cares about the company? Basically running on turnover, by the sounds of it, if you read between the lines. Do I know that for a fact? No, I don't. But that's what that suggests, is that there's been some dodgy dealings there with the banks, etc. And where the money was going to when it was given to this GFC company run by this guy. I'm not too sure if all of you out there in the world that are watching this understand how big this is. You're literally going to start seeing companies go pop, 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 pop all around the world because of this one thing. Because this Greensill guy was a multi-billionaire basically running a Ponzi scheme, a huge Ponzi scheme by the sounds of it. It was a scam by the sounds of it, the biggest scam ever. That's just from what I've read off the newspapers, etc. Maybe I'm reading it the wrong way. I don't know. But that's what it, when you're reading these things, that's how it reads. Okay. So we have a steel mill here in Australia called Whyalla. Whyalla Steel Mills. And it employs basically everyone in that town. Now, if that goes pop, the Australian steelmaking industry collapses. And guess who's going to come in, swoop down and rescue it? Did you say China? Yeah. Now, here's the big thing that I was just talking about with China being a bully. The Australian government's going to say, no, you can't buy it. That's when the shit's really going to hit the fan. And you're wondering, oh, okay, why? Well, Australia's going to tell China it's a strategic asset and they can't own it. If you haven't noticed, put two and two together. There's something else in the world that's going on right now with this big tanker that's stuck in the Suez Canal. Guess who owns it? Taiwan. Now, don't you think that's kind of ironic? Did you watch the graphics of how this thing was floating in the water or going through the water? Folks, it's just not sensical. There's no conspiracies, but there's also no coincidences. So ask yourself how a ship like that did a 90-degree angle type of thing and shut up the shop. It doesn't make sense and it doesn't work, folks. It's not logical. Not logical at all. Look, I'm sorry if that offends a lot of people listening to this, but it's just not, come on. Owned by Taiwan. So it's just all the trade in the world is now stopped just about because of this thing. The only way they can get their trade now is to go round the coast of South Africa, Cape Horn, and come back up. It's 10,000 Ks extra. Once again, who's going to come out on top? China. Now, I keep saying this stuff, and that guy, Kamika, listen, mate, I don't get too much wrong. I don't give you dates. I don't remember giving a date. I think if I remember, I said Taiwan was going to be invaded, in a couple of weeks' time, which is probably wrong. Shouldn't say things like that. It is going to be, let's just put it this way. It is going to be invaded. And they are going to bomb the shit out of the place. Because the people who run Taiwan are the previous warlords from China who escaped to Taiwan, set it up, and became, commercial USA types. China hates them. And they're going to make an example of them because they know that it's just going to be really bad warfare, street-to-street warfare. So the only way they can stop it really is to bomb the shit out of the place. And that sounds scary, and it is actually scary, but what do you want me to do? Lie to you? If you haven't noticed, right, here's one thing I want you guys to do. Go and find some old clips of Nazi Germany, the Weimar Republic, etc., etc., and watch it, and then go and watch stuff about China at the moment, because the parallels are astounding. You have one Nazi-led regime and another Nazi-led regime, basically. These guys are actually worse, and nobody does anything. Now, history tells us that if you do not do anything about people like this, then basically the world's going to go to shit, which is a bad thought. But can you guys see any other way out of this now? Unless the Americans bomb the shit out of China? And that's sad enough. But no, did anybody stop these guys building these bases in the South China Sea? No. So my point to this Pramika, bro, yes, mate, you have to go on mainstream media to get some information. It's as simple as that. If you know where to look, you'll find it. Sky News, type in, because I'm telling you the truth here. Sometimes these stories that I'm showing you about Taiwan do not even make it onto the page. You have to actually click in Taiwan and find it. I can point to a couple of those stories there that never even made it to the front page. And of course, a lot of people just read the front page. Now, I'd highly recommend you guys watch War Room Pandemic in America, because guys, they're literally ringing the bell saying, hey, listen, bad. I wanted to show you guys one final thing and leave you with a final thought, okay? For a while now, world's economies around the world have just been throwing money around like it's confetti. Now, if you're relevant with the term helicopter money, that's what all this is now. It's just helicopter money. The US national debt is now $31 trillion. Now, I'm going to go on the US debt clock and show you they're not even bothering to actually update it anymore. This is a couple of trillion out. Look in the left corner there, US national debt. They're not even actually putting in the correct amount anymore. Because why? Because it doesn't matter. The US is now having to sell all their bonds to pay their debt, their interest on the debt. Now, a year ago, Bill Holter, Dave Morgan, reams of these financial guys were saying that's exactly what was going to happen. We would get to the tipping point where America was actually going to have to sell their bonds to actually pay off the interest, not the debt, the interest. And we've gone past that point. Think about that. This is where we're at, folks. So, look, I take this Pamika bloke's, I take a few things that he said with a grain of salt, but look, he's probably right on a couple of things. You know, I probably did say, oh, Taiwan was going to get invaded in a couple of weeks. If I did, right, my apologies. What I should have said is Taiwan's going to be invaded. And so is Australia. And that ship that I was telling you about is still sitting out on the coast, West Australian coast, surveying our coastline. Because they're trying to find the channels, because they don't have the navigational, what's the names, of submarines that all the other countries have. Because they're basically a fledgling navy. So they need the charts, etc., to get through the Straits of Malacca, etc., in Indonesia. And they haven't got them. Mind you, look, China's got everything, so let's just not kid ourselves. They're basically sabotaging the whole world as we speak. Now, someday soon, they are going to invade Taiwan. And when that happens, the American government's going to sit back and go, well, and this is when you know that the world is in a really shit state. When America turns around, Joe Biden goes, well, look, Taiwan's always been part of China anyway. So, you know, it's not for us to get involved in their cultural differences. That's how they're going to play this out, folks. And then the whole world is going to know that America is not leading the world anymore. It's China. And then China's basically told America, we're going to do what we want. Stay out of our business, or we're going to blow you up. So look, this Pamika bloke and other people, I take it with a grain of salt, and I have listened to what you said. But hey, listen, guys, I do my research. That's why I don't do a video every single day, because you can't. In this environment, unless I had a team of people with me to actually give me the paperwork in front of me that says certain things, blah, 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 like they do at War Room, National Pulse, Fox News, Sky News. I don't have those people. It's just me. So I have to read everything. And in the meantime, trying to keep my house going, trying to keep the veggie gardens going, etc. It's not easy. Hence the reason why I don't do a video every day, because I'll be lying to you. I couldn't keep up. There's that much news. But what I will say to you is this: do your own research. Mate, the reason why you're pissed off at me for this Pamika boat is because you're not doing any research. And the one reason I know that is because you said in your thing, China is the biggest threat to the world. Well, okay. So I'll throw it back at you, mate. Where's your research? I can help you. Just do Sky News, not all of it, some of it, ABC, and all of those, by the way, I use the search engines. Now, as I said, the ABC has recently done a left turn and is actually reporting on this China stuff. They're not putting it up on their front page. You have to search for it. And that goes the same with everybody else, by the way, except for Sky News. Sky News is actually hammering China. Hammering. And War Room Pandemic and the National Pulse and a few other these other guys. So look, I've said enough. I hope you're all well. Make sure you're preparing. Oh, one last final thing. and this is for this Pramika bloke as well. If you haven't noticed, interest rates in the banks are going up. As I said they were going to. We fixed ours. 1.99, I think it was, maybe even cheaper, for 4 years. What happens after 4 years? I don't know. Don't even want to think about it. Do I think I'm going to be living in this house in the next 2 years? Probably not the way things are going. But hey, hedge your bets. And here's the other thing. Take out mortgage insurance if you can afford it. Load it onto your loan if you can. Take out mortgage insurance, not with the bank that you're with. You have to find a good policy done by someone, because if your bank goes bust, so does your insurance policy. Just double check what you're doing with your insurance policies, please. It's really important. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. God bless. Prep out.